Voices of Vista.
Someone who's willing, someone to care, someone who's needed and glad to be there, someone to give of himself for a year, a Vista volunteer.
With Bobby Darin and the John Kakavas Orchestra and Chorus. These are the voices of Vista, volunteers in service to America. All over America, in slums, migrant worker camps, Indian reservations, wherever opportunity is needed. That's where Vista volunteers go.
Someone who's young and someone who's old, hands that are willing and hearts that are bold, someone to give what is priceless and dear, a Vista volunteer. Vista volunteer. Vista volunteer.
I'm Willis Conover. Now meet our guest. Bobby Darin.
I keep on walking in the shadow of love, looking for the sunshine every day. Since you're gone, there's no doubt that the light of love went out. I keep walking in the shadow of love. Well, at the first step, the sun shone bright. At the second step, I held you tight. By the third step, I saw the clouds appear. Then 4, 5, 6, and 7, you took the sunshine from my heaven. Now I'm walking in the shadow of love. Well, at the first step, don't you know the sun shone bright. At the second step, I held you tight. By the third step, oh, I saw the clouds appear. Then 4, 5, 6, and 7, you took the sunshine from my heaven. Now I'm walking in the shadow of your love. Oh yes, I'm walking in the shadow of love. Looking, 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 looking for the sunshine every day. Oh, with the memory of you only, in a world so dark and lonely, I keep walking in the shadow of your love. In the shadow of love. I mean to tell you, keep walking in the shadow of your love.
A voice for Vista, Bobby Darin. And Bobby's fingers are already a-snap for the second song. What is it, Bobby?
Well, there's a marvelous tune from a show called Mame, and strangely enough, the title of the tune is Mame. Shall we do it?
Let's do it.
You coax the blues right out of the horn. Mame, you charm the husk right off of the corn. Mame, you got those banjos strumming and plunking out of tune to beat the band. The whole plantation is Dixie back to Dixieland. Yes, you make the cotton easier to pick. Mame, you give my old mint julep a kick. Mame, you make the old magnolia tree blossom at the mention of your name. You made us feel alive again and giving us the drive again. You make the South revive again, Mame. You got those banjos strumming and plunking out of tune to beat the band. Yes, the whole plantation is humming since you brought Dixie back to Dixieland. You make the cotton easier to pick. Man, you give my old mint julep a kick, kick, kick. Man, you make the old magnolia tree blossom at the mention of your name. Your special fascination proved to be inspirational. We think you're just sensational, man.
Bobby Darin. He'll be back. A year from now, the Vista volunteer will be back in his own town with his old friends, living his own life, working at his own career. But right now, this year, the Vista volunteer is living away from his regular routine in some place where things aren't so good. Vista volunteers come from all walks of life. Some are young, 18 is the qualifying age. Some are old. There's no upper age limit. Men and women are serving. Husbands and wives can serve together. They live for a year away from home, maybe in a city slum, maybe at a migrant worker camp, a hospital, an Indian reservation, or a Job Corps camp. They give themselves full time to Americans who think opportunity is a strange new word. For information, write Box C, Washington, D.C. A voice for Vista, Bobby Darin. Bobby, how do you go about selecting your songs? Do you do it yourself?
But, Willis, I must tell you this, that the final decision has to be made by me, obviously, because I have to sing the song. Therefore, I have to be comfortable with it. I must say this, though, that there are many people who look for material for me. For example, a fellow that runs my publishing house, in addition to having chores as a vice president and a general manager, runs around, well, I shouldn't say runs around, that's not correct, but makes phone calls, let me put it that way, to various publishers and lets them know when I'm due for a record date. There's also some people on the West Coast that dial the phone every week or so and say what's new from a picture or what's new from a Broadway show, because good material naturally is always, difficult to find. And if you don't have somebody looking for it, you find that your competition has found it first.
I suppose there are people who bring you a lot of their own songs.
There is a great deal of material from which I must select. I wish it were all good, but unfortunately it's not. Yes, there are many people who assume that they are songwriters. No, they are not songwriters in most cases. But the professional managers of the big firms, as well as the independent firms, usually come through, with the best of the material from which to pick. Once again, it goes back to the word comfort. It may be the greatest song ever written, but if I'm not comfortable singing it, then it's just something that has to remain out of my record repertoire.
The next one is in your repertoire, of course, so tell us, Bobby.
Well, this is, believe it or not, we're talking about outside material, and here's a tune that I penned one morning about 3 or 4 o'clock in the a.m. Sitting, I was playing guitar and fooling around, and along came these chords to me, which are not new chords by any means, and this thought about raining and raining and raining, and that happens to be the title of the tune, Rainin'.
Bobby Darin.
It keeps on raining every day, just keeps on raining, won't go away. Same old love story you've heard before. I tried, she lied, I cried, inside it keeps on raining. Oh, how much more will it keep raining? Will it still pour? Maybe there's someone waiting around the bend, a friend who'll lend an end to all this raining, this awful raining, and bring me some love. And it keeps on raining. Oh, how much more will it keep raining? Will it still pour? Maybe there's someone waiting around the bend, a friend who'll lend an end to all this raining, this awful raining, and bring me some love.
Bobby Darin, a voice for Vista. Now let's meet another of our Vista volunteers. Her name is Patricia Dietz. She comes from Massachusetts. She's on the phone now from Chicago Heights, Illinois. Patricia, what did you want to do as a Vista volunteer?
Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to do this year. I knew I wanted to do some social work, and I knew I wanted to do something sort of radical, not get caught up in the system and just absorb the viewpoint of some agency. And I think that, Vista's allowed me to do that.
What sort of people live in Chicago Heights, Patricia?
Well, it's really weird. It's a suburb, but it's an industrial suburb, and it has farms coming up right to the factory edges. And Chicago Heights itself is sort of a miniature Chicago. It has a ghetto, and in the ghetto live Negroes and Mexicans and Lithuanians and Poles.
Do they have special problems?
They have lots of problems. When they first come here, well, for a long time, most of them don't speak English. And then those that speak English sometimes can't read and write it. And they don't have high school educations, and their kids drop out of school and get in trouble.
Well, do you like the people you're working with?
Oh, yeah. I love most of them.
How do you spend your day?
Go to lots and lots of meetings. Spend a lot of time on the phone, walking around, going to people's houses, and seeing how they're feeling about, the way organizations are moving, and seeing what kind of problems they're in.
Well, now, what would you say to your friends who are interested in joining Vista? Do you recommend it?
I always say yes, and I pile them up with literature, because I think it's, I think it's a cure-all for everybody, which isn't true, but anybody that has any interest in sort of social work or traveling or getting to know different kinds of people, I just think it's a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you, Patricia. Patricia Dietz, ladies and gentlemen, a Vista volunteer. Bobby Darin. Bobby, when did you first hear this next song, The Shadow of Your Smile? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. It was the Tony Bennett recording of it, and it was about, sometime in 1965. The moment I heard it, I said to myself, now why didn't somebody come and show me that song? It's probably one of the best overall songs ever written, and in addition to that, certainly one of the 5 best motion picture songs ever written. Delicious, delicious tune. Johnny Mandel and Paul Francis Webster had some collaboration and some marvelous, marvelous piece of material. Shadow of Your Smile.
Bobby Darin sings the Academy Award-winning theme from The Sandpiper.
The shadow of your smile when you are gone will color all my dreams and light the dawn. Look into my eyes, my love, and see all the lovely things you are to me. Our wistful little star was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Now when I remember spring, all the joy that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile. Now when I remember spring, all the joy that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile.
Bobby, where do you give credit for your success?
Obviously, nobody arrives at any plateau in this industry without a great deal of help. Whether it comes from one person or more than one is an individual situation. In my case, it's several people. I must say that those individuals who did it without any pecuniary returns, and they did it because they felt that I should be seen and heard. I would have to assume, and not assume, but I know from personal experience that there's nothing nicer than extending a left hand or a right hand or whatever to somebody who kind of needs it. Now, if you have not got an occupation, if you're somebody who's feeling his way around in his own mind as to what he wants to do and hasn't made up his mind, it seems to me that a year spent in and with Vista makes all the sense in the world, because you're certainly going to get a shot at dealing with human beings for what evidently is just an expense kind of program, and you're not going to get paid for it per se. And out of that, can give you a chance, I would imagine, to determine what you yourself want to do with your life. I also would have to assume that if you were retired, and therefore in the area of, gee, I wonder what I'm going to do now that I'm 60 or 65, that there's still some awfully powerful years left, and they should be devoted to helping people who maybe didn't get a chance to help themselves, And I like the program. I'm for the program. I'm well aware of what it can do, but it can't. What I also know is what it cannot do, and that is it cannot function without people volunteering to help it. So, if I were you, I would kind of jump in there and join Vista.
Bobby Darin likes Vista. You may too. Find out. Write Vista, Box C, Washington, D.C. Bobby Darin is our voice for Vista today. I assume, Bobby, that you have the usual widespread industry and audience appreciation of that top songwriting team, Henry Mancini and Johnny Mercer.
Yeah, I tell you, they could write songs for me every day of the week and twice on Sundays. I've never heard anything that falls short of sensational that they've done. Moon River, obviously, Days of Wine and Rose, Charade, and this one, of course, Sweetheart Tree.
They say there's a tree in the forest, a tree that will give you a sign. Come along with me to the sweetheart tree. Come and carve your name next to mine. They say if you kiss the right sweetheart, the one you've been waiting for, big blossoms of white will burst into sight, and your love will be true evermore. Kiss the right sweetheart, the one you've been waiting for. Big blossoms of white will burst into sight, and your love will be true evermore, evermore, evermore.
Our thanks to Bobby Darin, a voice for Vista, and our thanks to the American Federation of Musicians and to this station for making the program possible.
Someone who's willing, someone to care, someone who's needed and glad to be there, someone to give of himself for a year, a Vista volunteer.
Voices of Vista is produced by Arch Lustberg for the Office of Economic Opportunity. The audio engineer was Richard Mays. Find out more about Vista. Write to Vista, Box C, Washington, D.C. Now for Bobby Darin, the John Kakavas Orchestra and Chorus, and Willis Conover. Goodbye.
Someone who's young and someone who's old, hands that are willing and hearts that are bold. Someone to give what is priceless and dear, a Vista volunteer. Vista volunteer.
This is an M.A. Mangum production.